Welcome to our Brassfield and Gorey job site. We're excited you're here. Before we get started, we're going to share some information with you today about our safety culture and what all of us can do to get each other home safely. In this orientation, you'll hear about what drives our safety culture, the controls we put in place, and what you need to know to stay safe on our job sites. So pay close attention to what you hear and take it to heart, whether this is your first time in the field or your 50th.
At Brassfield and Gorey, safety isn't just rules and regulations. It's a promise to you and your family. That's why we relentlessly pursue ways to strengthen our controls and empower our people. As we get started, we have some core beliefs that we want to share with you. People make mistakes. It's inevitable. You and I make mistakes every single day, but we refuse to allow those mistakes to end in a severe injury or death. To combat that risk, we have to account for human error in our everyday work. Let's start with a hard truth. Construction projects aren't inherently safe. We have all the ingredients for something bad to happen every single day. Our people and our controls are what keep those hazardous energies from being released and hurting our teammates. The 9 most dangerous of those energies are called stuff that can kill you, or sticky for short. These hazards have the highest risk of serious injury and even death. We're relentless about keeping controls in place, especially ones that combat sticky hazards. Let's explore each of these hazards and how we can protect against them.
Any task that puts you at risk of falling 6 feet or more requires fall protection. No exceptions. Some situations are obvious, protecting the edges of boom lifts and scissor lifts or easily reachable tie-off points. But other hazards, like holes in elevated slabs, aren't always as visible, and that's where mistakes happen. In those cases, we use the highest level of control, clearly labeled mechanically fastened hole covers. If the opening is large enough for a person to fall through, it must also be marked with warning signage. For ladder work, only platform-style ladders are allowed. Traditional A-frame ladders present too many risks, including balance issues and misuse, and are no longer allowed on our job sites. If you're using personal fall rest systems, such as a harness and lanyard, you must have a proper anchorage point rated for 5,000 pounds. Before you begin using that system, you also need to be trained on it and inspect your gear. Falls remain one of the leading causes of serious injuries and fatalities in construction. Take the time to plan, use the right equipment, and ask questions if you're unsure about anchorage points, access, or when to tie off. Because soil conditions can vary and are hard to identify without testing, we treat all soil as Class C, the most unstable type, unless a third-party engineer tells us otherwise. That means we do not allow benching. All excavations 5 feet or deeper must be sloped at a 1.5 to 1 ratio, or about 34 degrees. When an excavation reaches 4 feet in depth, there must be safe access like a ladder or ramp within 25 feet of every worker. And let's be honest, safe access is the right move at any depth. If sloping isn't possible due to space or conditions, you must use a trench box or another approved shielding system to keep the walls stable and workers protected. Soil is heavier than it looks, around 85 pounds per cubic feet. A standard excavator bucket can hold 30 to 40 cubic feet, which means a single bucket of soil can weigh 2,500 to 3,500 pounds. That's more than enough to crush a person. And in a trench collapse, it's not just one bucket, it's the entire wall. Don't underestimate the hazard. Slope it, shore it, shield it, or stay out of it. No one ever plans to drop a tool or a piece of material, but when you're working at height, even a small object can become deadly. Tethering tools and materials can help, but it's not always easy or guaranteed to work. That's why we take falling object hazards seriously. Even one dropped object can cause life-changing injuries to someone below. A hard barricade must be installed beneath all overhead work. Red tape is not allowed. It's not strong enough, and it doesn't stop anyone from walking under overhead work. You'll see controls in place to reduce this risk, from netting on our guardrails, barricades around lifts and scaffolding, and rigid barriers under overhead activities. Here's why it matters. A hammer dropped from 30 feet generates nearly 150 pounds of force when it hits the ground, more than enough to seriously injure or kill someone. Your job is not just to look up, it's to think ahead. If you plan your work and use the right controls every time, you can protect the people below you. Cranes and rigging are some of the most complex and high-risk operations on our projects. Because of the hazards involved, these tasks require proper training, close coordination, and strict inspections every time they're used. Every crane must be inspected daily, and those inspections must be documented and submitted to Brasfield & Gorrie. If you're involved in crane operations, this is non-negotiable. If a lift approaches 75% of the crane's rated capacity, stop and notify project leadership. We'll review the plan with you, and if needed, develop a formal crane lift plan to ensure the pick can be done safely. Don't guess, we're here to help. Rigging also demands skill and attention to detail. Anyone rigging a load must have documented, up-to-date training on file with Brasfield & Gorrie. Before every lift, perform a pre-use rigging inspection. Be ready to discuss your plan, including the hitch type and sling angle. Sling angles 30 degrees or less dramatically increase tension in the slings. If that tension isn't accounted for, the result can be a dropped load. There are no shortcuts for these operations. Inspect your gear, know your limits, and speak up if something feels off. Our team is here to support you every step of the way. Struck-by injuries are one of the most serious risks on our projects. While they can happen in many ways, we focus on the two most common: workers on foot struck by heavy equipment and workers hit by public traffic in or near roadways. Operating heavy equipment is repetitive, high-focus work. Operators face limited sight lines, blind spots, and sudden obstacles. That's why our first priority is creating separation using clearly marked walk paths, hard barricades, and flagging wherever possible. When separation isn't possible, communication becomes critical. Make eye contact, use hand signals, and confirm you've been seen. If you're not seen, you're not safe. Operators play a role too. Slowing down, using horns in blind zones, and keeping cab windows open to improve awareness. For equipment like excavators, swing paths must be barricaded just like open trenches. Near live traffic, the risk of struck-by injuries increases. Public drivers are often distracted by signage, road changes, or their phones, so we require hard barriers like jersey walls or yodocks between you and traffic. We try to separate you from heavy equipment and public traffic where possible. When crossing public roads, follow designated crosswalks and always assume drivers don't see you. Our goal is simple. If a driver makes a mistake, it doesn't become a tragedy. Daily inspections, traffic control plans, and ongoing training help ensure our teams stay protected when working near the public. Struck-by hazards don't announce themselves. Stay alert, stay separated, and speak up. Confined spaces are everywhere on construction sites, often hidden in plain sight. Manholes, vaults, tanks, crawl spaces, they all share a common risk: limited access, poor ventilation, and potential exposure to deadly gases. All confined spaces on site are classified into two categories by Brasfield & Gorrie: permit-required confined spaces and non-permit confined spaces. Each confined space will be labeled as to what category it falls into. All non-permit required confined spaces will be air monitored at a minimum of once per day. For permit-required confined spaces, a confined space entry permit must be completed daily and signed off by Brasfield & Gorrie prior to entry. Our project team will share which spaces on this project are confined spaces and which category they fall into. Atmospheric testing is a critical control in all confined space entries. Certain construction activities, ground contaminants, or nearby utility leaks can create conditions that have the potential for fatal or life-altering conditions. Most of these conditions can't be detected by eye or smell alone. Each year, we experience several near misses involving electrical energy that are either unplanned for by the workers performing electrical work or that went unrecognized. Before you conduct any work on lines or equipment that is energized or that could be energized, document your plan on the lockout tagout board. Then use the lockout tagout permit to walk through every step. Identify the circuit, verify it's the right one using the drawings, including red lines, as-built, or panel schedules, and make sure you're not guessing. When it's time to lock and tag, make it obvious and make it secure. That lock is your life insurance. And before you touch a conductor, always perform a live-dead live test with a voltage meter. That's how you confirm that circuit was de-energized and that your meter is working. Any live parts that have the potential to be energized require isolation, such as with a cover or boundary to prevent accidental contact. Only authorized employees should be putting hands on anything that could be energized. Every year, we see incidents where someone skips a single step and gets shocked. Don't let that be your story. Take the time, follow the process, and stay in control. On our projects, there are live utilities both overhead and underground that remain active through multiple phases of work. The best way to prevent utility strikes is visibility. That means clearly identifying and marking all utilities, whether they're in the air or under your feet. If you're installing utilities, it's your responsibility to communicate their exact location to Brasfield and Gorrie so we can update our site-wide utility map. Before any digging or excavation begins, you must notify Brasfield and Gorrie leadership and complete a dig permit. The permit isn't just paperwork, it's a conversation. It ensures that both the equipment operator and the competent person understand exactly where existing utilities are. That information is available on our dig board, which is updated in real time. If you're working within 18 inches of a known utility, soft digging is mandatory. Soft digging is hand digging or using a vacuum truck to expose the utility safely. Every marked line protects someone's life. Respect the markings, follow the process, and ensure controls are in place. You don't drive blind. We don't want you to dig blind either. Fire is the final sticky hazard we'll cover with you. While rare, fires on our projects can turn deadly in seconds. Hot work like burning or welding happens across our projects every day. When controlled, it's low risk, but around the wrong materials or when smoldering goes unnoticed, the results can be catastrophic. That's why we have strict expectations for fire safety. Before any hot work begins, a Brasfield and Gorrie burn permit is required. One of our superintendents will review the scope with you and issue the permit on site. If you're doing hot work, you also need a dedicated fire watch who's clearly identified with a fire watch band on their hard hat. Their only job is to monitor the area with a fire extinguisher during the work and for 30 minutes after to make sure nothing ignites. Yes, moving materials or using fire blankets can take a little more time, but our team is here to help. Ask us. We'll assist. Small inconveniences are better than massive losses. In the event of a fire, your ability to evacuate quickly and safely matters the most. We've seen real incidents where having clear stair access and a practiced escape route saved lives. Let's work together, communicate, follow the plan, and take fire prevention seriously. It might just save someone's life. We've shared a lot of info with you, but you might still have some questions. Now you'll hear from one of our project leaders who will walk you through some site-specific hazards, our emergency action plan, and how to get some of the permits required to work on this project. Don't be afraid to ask questions. If you have one, chances are someone else does too.
Now let me be clear about one thing. We take safety seriously. It's not just the responsibility of your supervisor or safety manager, it belongs to all of us. That means paying attention to hazards and speaking up when something doesn't look right. Mental health matters too. If you're struggling, don't keep it to yourself. Talk to someone. And if you feel stuck and don't know who to talk to, there's a number you can call or text, 988. It's not just for emergencies. It connects you to real people 24/7 who are trained to listen and help you figure out your next step. You can also call or text my personal phone anytime. I keep it on me 24 hours a day. My number is 205-789-7048. I'm going to ask our superintendent or safety manager to give you their number as well. There should never be a barrier to reporting an injury or raising a concern.
We don't expect perfection, but we do believe that no one should lose their life over a mistake on the job. That's why we ask you to work with us as partners to keep this site safe. So be vigilant, watch out for each other, and speak up if something seems off. Welcome to the team.